Hi, my name is Eleanor Whitmore. I'm 83 years old, and before you think this is a story about money or success or regret, listen carefully, because what I'm about to say may save you decades of your life. But before we continue, tell me where you're watching from. Write your country or city in the comments below.
Now let me tell you the truth. Make sure you're ready.
What no one warned me about. People assume dissatisfaction comes from failure. They were wrong. Some of the most dissatisfied people you'll ever meet are the ones who almost got everything they wanted. I wasn't poor. I wasn't unlucky. I wasn't invisible. I was just never full. No matter how much I achieved, no matter how many compliments I received, no matter how many goals I checked off, there was always another voice whispering, "Not enough." And I listened to that voice. For 83 years. Where it started. I was born in 1942, in a quiet town where everyone knew your name, and your mistakes followed you longer than your dreams. My parents were hardworking people, good people, but they believed in one dangerous idea. If you stop wanting more, you become nothing. So wanting more became my religion. At school, I wasn't satisfied with good grades. I needed to be the best. When I won awards, I didn't celebrate. I immediately looked for the next one. When teachers praised me, I wondered why they didn't praise me more. Even as a child, contentment felt like laziness. Love wasn't enough either. I fell in love at 21. His name was Robert. He loved me in a quiet, steady way. The kind of love people spend their lives searching for. But even then, something inside me asked, "Is this it?" When he proposed, I said yes. Not because I felt complete, but because it felt like the next box to check. Our wedding was beautiful. People said we looked happy. And we were. But happiness didn't last long in my mind. I wanted more excitement, more admiration, more proof that I mattered. I loved Robert, but I also resented him for not being everything. That was my pattern. I turned blessings into burdens by asking them to do what they never promised to do. The career that never satisfied me. I built a career people admired. Promotions, respect, stability. From the outside, my life looked successful. From the inside, it felt like standing at a table full of food and still being hungry. Every achievement only made me restless. When I reached a goal, instead of feeling proud, I felt embarrassed for wanting it so badly. And worse, I compared myself constantly. There was always someone younger, smarter, more accomplished. I didn't measure my life by joy. I measured it by distance, how far ahead or behind I was from others. That comparison stole years from me. The moment I should have paid attention. There was a night in my early 40s that should have changed everything. Robert sat across from me at the dinner table. He looked tired, not physically, emotionally. He said quietly, "You're always somewhere else, Eleanor, even when you're here." I laughed it off. I said I was ambitious, driven, focused. What I didn't say was the truth. I was afraid that if I stopped striving, I would disappear. That fear kept me moving, but it also kept me empty. The cost I didn't notice yet. Dissatisfaction is sneaky. It doesn't ruin your life all at once. It drains it slowly. It makes you delay joy, postpone gratitude, rush through moments meant to be felt. I missed conversations because I was thinking about what came next. I rushed seasons of my life that never returned, and I didn't know it yet, but the bill for my dissatisfaction was already being written. And hook, what changed everything? Years later, something happened that finally forced me to stop running. Something I never planned for. Something I couldn't achieve my way out of. Now listen closely. The illusion I lived inside. For most of my life, I believed dissatisfaction was fuel. I told myself, keeps me sharp. It keeps me relevant. It keeps me ahead. What I didn't realize was that fuel burns out things too. And it was burning me. By my late 50s, I had everything I once prayed for. A respected name, a comfortable home, grown children, and a life people envied. Yet every morning, I woke up with a tightness in my chest. Not pain, not sadness, just restlessness. Like I was late for something I couldn't name. The day everything slowed down. The day that changed me didn't arrive loudly. No accident. No dramatic event. Just a phone call. Robert had collapsed at work. By the time I reached the hospital, machines were breathing for him. The doctor spoke gently, but his words hit me like cold water. We don't know how much time he has. For the first time in decades, there was no next step I could control. No plan. No achievement. Just waiting. And waiting is terrifying. When you've built your entire identity on doing. Sitting with the man I took for granted. I sat beside Robert's bed every day. And for the first time, I wasn't thinking about what came next. I was thinking about what I had missed. He squeezed my hand one afternoon and whispered, "You finally look like you're here." That sentence broke something inside me. Because he was right. I had spent years physically present, but emotionally chasing something else. Something undefined. Something endless. I realized then, I didn't know how to be still without feeling guilty. The truth about wanting more. Wanting more isn't wrong, but never allowing yourself to feel enough is deadly. Dissatisfaction convinces you that life starts later. After the next promotion. After the next milestone. After the next version of yourself. So you delay living. I delayed joy like it was a reward I hadn't earned yet. The question that haunted me. One night, while the hospital was quiet, I asked myself something I had never dared to ask. If everything stopped today, would I feel complete? The answer terrified me. Not because I lacked success, but because I had never allowed success to satisfy me. I realized I had been chasing validation, not fulfillment. And validation is a hunger that never ends. The moment I finally understood Robert survived. But he was never the same. He moved slower, spoke less. One evening, sitting on the porch, he said, "I don't want more anymore. I just want enough." I used to think that sentence was surrender. Now I understood it was freedom. What dissatisfaction really took from me. It didn't steal my money. It didn't steal my opportunities. It stole my presence. It taught me to overlook quiet happiness, to undervalue peace, to treat contentment like weakness. I realized something painful. I had been successful, but I hadn't been fulfilled. And those two things are not the same. The first small change. I didn't transform overnight. Change never happens that way. But I started noticing moments. Morning light through the window. Silence without anxiety. Conversations without rushing. At first, it felt uncomfortable. Like wearing clothes that didn't belong to me. But slowly, the noise in my head softened. Here is the truth I haven't told you yet. Even after all this, I still wasn't satisfied. Because understanding the problem is not the same as undoing a lifetime of habits. Before I say anything else, pause for a second. Where are you watching from right now? Drop your city or country in the comments below. One day, when someone reads this story years from now, your comment will remind them that this moment mattered. Now let me finish the truth I've been avoiding. Knowing isn't the same as changing. After Robert's illness, I understood what dissatisfaction had done to me. But understanding didn't save me. That's the part no one tells you. You can recognize the problem, name it, explain it beautifully, and still keep living the same way. I told myself, I'll slow down next year. I'll enjoy things once life calms. I'll appreciate what I have when I finally feel secure. Years passed quietly while I waited for permission to be content. Permission that never came. The lie I kept believing. Here's the lie that trapped me longest. One more achievement, then I'll rest. That sentence stole decades. Because there is always one more thing. Another goal. Another comparison. Another version of success dangling just out of reach. Dissatisfaction doesn't scream. It whispers logically. And logical lies are the hardest to escape. The day I lost something I can't get back. Robert died 3 years ago. Peacefully. Quietly. I held his hand as his breathing slowed. His last words were simple. Don't wait as long as I did. That was it. No speeches. No regrets spoken aloud. But I heard the regret anyway. After the funeral, the house felt enormous and empty. Not because he was gone, but because I finally had time. And I didn't know what to do with it. The cruel irony of time. Time is generous when you don't need it, and ruthless when you finally do. At 83, I have hours to reflect, but fewer days to live differently. That's the cruel trade no one warns you about. You spend your strongest years preparing for a life you're too tired to fully enjoy. What satisfaction actually is and isn't. I used to think satisfaction meant stopping ambition. I was wrong. Satisfaction is not giving up. It's arriving. It's letting moments count while they're happening, not saving joy for later like a reward. Satisfaction is choosing presence over pressure. And presence doesn't come automatically. You must practice it, or life will rush past while you plan. The question I ask myself every morning now. Every morning, I ask myself one question. If today were enough, would I allow it to be? Some days the answer is yes. Some days it isn't. But at least now, I'm asking what I wish I had known sooner. If you're listening to me and thinking, I still have time, you're right. But time isn't infinite, and dissatisfaction is patient. It will gladly wait while you postpone living. Here's what I wish someone had told me earlier. Peace is not laziness. Contentment is not failure. Wanting more doesn't mean ignoring what you already have. You don't have to reach the end of life to realize this. I did. You don't have to. My final truth. I wasn't unsatisfied because life was lacking. I was unsatisfied because I never let life be enough. And that choice, that habit, cost me moments I can never relive. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Don't wait for retirement, success, illness, to finally arrive in your own life. Arrive now. Sit fully in one moment today, without chasing the next one. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. If this story spoke to you, share where you're watching from in the comments. Tell me, what part of your life are you always telling yourself will matter later? Someone reading your answer may change their life because of it.